So just one more thing about Canelo.
No. So the other side, because we're gonna get back to it.
Okay.
The other side of everything, though, is everybody's talking about. Everybody's talking about Canelo and Crawford getting in the ring, and this talk has been going on probably since last summer, right?
Yeah. Since
maybe since last summer, late summer, definitely fall, and everybody looks and everybody says the same thing. Crawford's too small for Canelo. You're so used to seeing Canelo at 168 now for probably about about 4 years now. You've seen him at 68, right?
For the biggest Canelo?
Fight? Yeah.
6, almost 7, going on to the 7th year. 7 years. Moved up for Felding.
He knocked that dude out at the T-Mobile. What's the name of the fight? Light heavyweight or something? Cruiserweight?
When he, you talking about Canelo.
Yeah.
When he,
at 175 you talking about?
Oh, he knocked out Kovalev.
So he's been up there. That's been a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I understand what Crawford trying to do, and I don't think it's still going to be completely done, but I'm going to do it myself as well. We see right there that he's weighing 186 pounds. Mm-hmm. So basically what he's saying, stop saying I'm too little for this man.
Oh, I think skills pay the bills. I tell people all the time, because people tell me, but how is he going to protect himself? He's coming up from light. He's 130, 135, fighting at 168. I'm like, Crawford walk around. I told somebody between 170 to 185, but I don't know what. Yeah, my man been over at his mama house eating. So he's letting you know this. Basically, I'm coming in the ring as I'm walk around weight.
Yeah,
like this won't be a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. Is that Shawn Porter?
Yeah.
The punches hurt worse at 168 than 147.
I'm gonna tell you what I think. I think he's had his eye on Canelo Alvarez for about 3 years.
This is the.
You think so?
It makes. I think you might be right.
This is the fight that changes everything. The Spence fight it was a big moment. This is the moment.
Yeah.
This change.
But the reason why
we would have to wrestle him for the rest of his life, he wins the fight.
The reason why I said I think he's had his eyes. You're right, though. The reason why I think he's had his eyes on Canelo for about 3 years now, I think he's been getting ready to be able to fight at 160, and now obviously he's got to have that fight at 168 now. But I tell people all the time, it's not about how you gain and lose weight. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not a matter of gaining and losing weight. It's how you gain the weight and it's how you lose the weight. Us seeing him at 186 pounds right here you're right. He's probably is eating. The dude never stops training. So he's training on everything that he's eating. My man will kick it from time to time and do pizza. He'll kick it from time to time and do chicken wings and things of that nature. When it's time for him to buckle down, he buckles down and does what he has to do. But he's also hitting weights. And when you're talking about somebody that you think is small coming up to a bigger weight class, he's saying, I'm not too little. I'm 186 pounds right now. But on top of that, if my man been hitting weights for 3 years, getting ready for a Canelo Alvarez kind of fight, that means he's going to be more than strong and sturdy and ready for. Now, it ain't about for this fight for Crawford. It ain't about the output. It's about the input. It's about the stuff that's coming back on him that he has to be able to withstand. And I got a feeling he's going to be able to do that.
Does his last 3 opponents prep him from that? Porter, Spence, all physical guys.
I think at this point every fight does. I think at this fight every fight's supposed to prep you. I wasn't as physical with them as I could have, should have been, but definitely a fight with Spence in terms of the level. And the fight that he had with Madrimov, the fact that Madrimov was able to keep him thinking and guessing and off rhythm. Those are the kind of things I talk about, fighters being uncomfortable all the time. We didn't see Crawford uncomfortable, but Crawford told me he never gave me what I wanted. The thing about Crawford is he never broke away from what he was doing there were moments where he got hit with some clean right hands because of falling asleep on, I got to get this off. I got to do this. And he got caught with some clean right hands. But that's an experience that gets him ready for
Imagine
the
Crawford's not
Canelo
going
fight.
to be active as Canelo in the fight.
Offensively, yeah.
Canelo's just not active.
Yeah.
He have moments.
Yeah.
And if it gets too crazy, I can see Crawford outboxing him. I'm just worried that Canelo gets on the ropes, kind of tell him, come here. I can't catch you. What you doing? What you running for? And Crawford just like, I'm winning the fight. Skills paying the bills.
Yeah.
If Crawford's getting hit, they can slow him down.
A lot of that fight comes down to Canelo bringing that vintage head movement that lacked a little bit against Brenagh, John Ryder. But if he's switched on.
You always say fighters have one more
great fight in him. Yeah, I think Canelo's certainly at the point where he may have one or two, a couple in him, Terrence too, but they're both getting closer to that stage, man. They're not young anymore. Yeah. You know, they're well into their 30s, both of them. But I do want to touch back on.
I tell people all the time. I tell people all the time that this fight is on time for both guys. Should I trust them?
Let him go.
Let him work. Go ahead.
Well, because earlier I'm talking about in taking that money that you're not really going to generate.
Why would I think he would forget?
No, let him get stuff off.
Go ahead, got you.
So some of because I can talk about it all day and drive Sean crazy, and I don't want to do that.
Please don't.
But I will touch on a couple of quick things, like Canelo. These dates that
you get two
that he's relinquishing, 2 main points, no problem. Gotcha. That he may relinquish because Turkey says he prefers to have the fight in America, the fight with Crawford and Canelo, but I suspect it may very well just happen in Saudi because again, that's the real point of Riyadh season.
Sure,
right?
Very true.
But he says we'll see. But if let's say Canelo doesn't, he's already fighting there in May. Let's say he doesn't fight there in September. That's one of the consequences I'm talking about of taking that money is those dates weren't handed to Canelo. They were given to him through bloody hands of Julio Cesar Chavez, Oscar De La Hoya, these guys that made those, Floyd Mayweather too, the guys that made that date, really 2 of the last strongly relevant dates in American boxing. 2 of the dates you're still going to get a fight that actually moves the needle in America. And by saying, you know what, 40 to 70 million, that's good, but I need this 100 plus over here. You already made it harder for the next great Mexican fighter and denying Benavidez a chance on one of those dates. Now for the next kid coming up, Marco Verde, whoever the next great Mexican fighter is, the longer you stay out of the States, the harder you're making it to pass that torch to the next great, not just Mexican fighter, North American fighter. Yeah. Same thing goes for Crawford, you guys made your fame and made your name in the United States, including by the eyes of Turkey. Yeah. And instead of feeding that ecosystem that built you, that allowed, North American boxing to thrive, by taking more money and being kind of greedy, you may not be leaving the ecosystem that you inherited, for better or worse. You might not be leaving it better off in the long run.
I can see that. I can see that. I understand that perspective as well. I think that you and I, we've had some offline conversations, and I do believe that and I'll speak specifically to Riyadh, to the kingdom and everything. You've already said that, and it's a fact. They're trying to bring more attraction to their kingdom, but you can never ignore what Las Vegas is to boxing. And with that being said, no matter what you have the power to do, the ability to do, even their love is for what's been here in America, right? Specifically, even here in Vegas. What I would be willing to bet, we saw Canelo go down to the AT&T stadium. We saw Errol Spence in his fight with Mikey Garcia at AT&T Stadium. We saw quite a few fights down there. Of course, we've seen fights Madison Square Garden, just Barclays. Coming right this weekend. Keyshawn's at Madison Square
at the theater.
In the theater. Barclays. I'm willing to believe that it will become more of a sole presence here for Vegas for what Riyadh decides to do. When, not if, but when they come back to the States, because you cannot take the history away from, as you just said, and you were right. You said the blood. I was like, what blood?
Yeah.
But you're right. There's an inheritance here in Las Vegas, and I don't think that inheritance will ever dissipate entirely.
It's nothing like watching a big heavyweight fight or a big time fight, and you send a Super Bowl champion there, the NBA, the MVP, just the stars of the stars, and I don't think it's like that when you go to. I don't. No disrespect. I don't know all those guys. I don't know all those people.
They bring a lot of the tippy tops. They bring the tippy tops. But you're right.
And those tippy tops still come to American fights too.
Right. But like when I went to Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, to have Dame Lillard right here next to me, and then Stephen A. a little bit ahead of me over here, and then a couple of other guys that I look at and revere. You won't get that time and time again in Riyadh, but you will definitely get it at the biggest fight. Was anybody at the Benavidez and Morrell fight that you?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't like that.
It wasn't like that. It was more of the hardcore showed up and showed out and actually put their money behind the fight and made it a good event. But I don't think it crossed over. Benavidez is in the process of crossing over. He was on Club Shay Shay with Shannon. Stephen A. said that's his favorite fighter. Morrell just wasn't that B-side to bring them all to the dance too. But Benavidez is in the process of being one of those guys that they show up for.